It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce and Michael. I know a ghost story or two. Let's do this.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And our super producer,
Riley Bray.
So, guys, last night I took Violet for a walk, and I want your opinion on something.
Okay.
And I'm on a walk. I'm barely halfway down the block. I'm texting with a friend, and there's this woman like 3 cars down from me, just like honking her horn, honk, 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 and shouting. And I can't tell what she's doing. Her head is hanging out the window. And then like a minute, like not even a minute, like 10 seconds goes by, and I was like, oh, I think this woman is shouting at me. And I go, huh? And she's talking to me. She's shouting at me, but she's blaring her horn in the rhythm of her voice. So it's like, hum, 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 hum. Hey, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I do not know what she's saying.
Stop one or the other, please.
Yes. So I'm getting annoyed with her. She's getting annoyed with me. And finally I go, what? And she goes, there's a coyote right over there. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And we have them all, we're always having coyotes come through the neighborhood. And yes, we got to be careful because we don't want them to attack our pets. But I was like, thank you. And then she looked so bummed that I wasn't screaming that there was a coyote there, like that I wasn't scared. She got more annoyed with me, and she's like, well, they're aggressive. And I was like, okay, thank you.
Thank you, lady.
She's like, I wouldn't want them to attack your dog. And I was like, thank you. Okay. She's like, it's hiding behind that car. And then she sped off angrily.
But I guess you don't care about your dog, so that's fine. Then that's fine too.
Yeah, I hope he actually gets eaten. Yeah. So
I was like, I just couldn't hear you because you were honking your horn so loud and speaking along to it. I was just confused. I'm sorry. Yeah, she was real bummed I didn't scream and run away. Anyway, so I'm not an asshole. There. Okay, great.
No, you're not. That, and also that's hilarious. And
if you're warning someone,
so casually walk by like at night, like pretty much every night by the studio. If I'm just like standing up by the door, they just sort of cruise by and just like kind of like glance. They're like, yeah, like they do not care.
It's that trickster spirit.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got to bring in our guests. Before we do that, we have some quick clubhouse business I want to run through. First of all, head over to our merch shop at wearecampfire.media or click the shop button in our show notes. We have some fun new t-shirt designs heading your way soon. We were just talking about them before we started rolling. They're just in time for summer, so definitely go over there and check it out. We will announce those new designs on the Instagram or at Bigfoot Collectors Club any moment now. So follow us over there. You can join our Patreon, BCC The Other Side, the parallel dimension to the Bigfoot Collectors Club, where you'll unlock 3 to 5 bonus episodes every month, including videos of our L-Files episodes, which are always a blast. We're starting to do those now. That's over at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club. And if you want to support the show another way, boys, what should they do?
Bryce, tell the people.
Oh, my mind is. I was looking out the window, bro.
That was like you just got called out in class fully. It's like, can you come up to the board and solve this one?
Exactly.
This was my school years. This was every day. What?
What? Seven.
I'll cover you.
It's the reciprocal.
Just go over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. It's so easy. You can do it right now from the Apple Podcast app if you're listening from there. If you do, we may read it on the show, like this one. This is called "You Will Love This Podcast." 5 stars by Air Force One. I really hope it's the literal Air Force One. That would be cool.
It's the entire Air Force.
I'm not even sure how I found this podcast, but I dig it. A perfect mix of fun and information. Come for Bigfoot and stay for high strangeness. These dudes are awesome. And hey, if you're seeing this, the universe probably wants you to listen to the podcast anyway, right? Enjoy the rabbit hole. I have to fly Joe Biden to California.
Amazing.
I do like the idea of a plane going like, I don't know how I found this podcast, but it's great. All right, guys, we have probably one of the biggest guests we've ever had on the show. He's a genuine rock star. Okay, his Grammy-nominated band has created platinum hits. It's topped the Billboard charts. Club Scouts of the world, please give a rousing clubhouse welcome to lead vocalist, acoustic guitarist, and keyboardist of the Plain White T's, Tom Higgenson.
Woo!
Hey,
Right.
wow. And that was a great intro. Can I get you to go on tour with us so you can introduce me like every night? That was great.
Yeah, can we talk about coyotes for like 4 minutes before you open, just to warm up
no
the crowd?
banter up front.
Well, you
Just
know what?
stands in
Hey,
silence.
honestly, listen, I'm in Malibu a lot of the time, and there are some like crazy coyotes around here. Like I will roll up to coyotes in my car and they will just be in the middle of the road and they will stare me down. Like they won't even move. It's almost like they're daring me to try to hit them or something.
I was picturing them like sitting in another convertible next to you. You just pull up next to them, they look at you. Like
I
That's
love
the
that. Yeah, that's the cartoon version. But no, they're wild around here, man. So yeah, I don't blame the old lady.
I don't. Well, I now I feel bad because I do think she was like in her 20s, but I look. I know they're dangerous. But I think it was just the reaction was so big and I was so confused for so long that when she told me what it was, I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
But,
What's your attacking coyote instincts, Michael? Is it a swift kick, or do you drop the dog and get the hands up and ready to gouge eyes? I mean, what are you thinking there?
I actually thought about Russell Acord from Expedition Bigfoot. I was like, I would bark. I bark at it. I charge at it. I actually just tell them,
That's
I go,
pretty
get
good.
out. I shoo them off. I'd shoo them off all the time. I'd be like, get out of here.
Shoo!
Go, shoo, get up the hill. Get back up in those hills. Tom,
And,
what do you
does
do?
it work? Does it
Yeah,
work?
they,
though?
I mean,
See-
they're casual. They're not scared of me, but they're like, all right, and they walk away.
Fine. I
And
don't
they
know.
look
I
over
tried
their
the
shoulder.
barking thing once at a coyote in front of my house, and I thought I summoned a pretty mean bark, and it just stood there and looked at me like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I was like,
You failed
"Oh,
the bark
shit,
test.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's how they are around here. They're like, yeah, that's all you got. They're like, it's a challenge with them. Yeah.
You should just carry like a bag of like a big box of like, you know, the personal bags of Fritos, and then just give them one of those to run off with. That's all they're just looking for trash. You know what I mean?
Freedoms,
They just want something to eat. Tom, welcome to the show. We have to ask all of our guests this. We have to now because we started this podcast. What is your personal paranormal history? Do you believe in the supernatural? Have you ever encountered something that you cannot explain?
So I've got a few. First of all, I do, because even though I've never really, of course I've never seen a ghost, right? But I tend to be like a believer in things in general. It's like, why not? Why not believe it? Because I don't know, right? Like it seems like completely, completely reasonable to me that there could be something else beyond our existence, right? So why not believe in it? Why not, humor that idea, right?
Totally.
So when I was in high school, me and my friends, we did like, I think it started by me and my friend Dave. We used to work at a movie theater, and the manager of the movie theater, he actually like on the weekends did like he hosted like a Chicago ghost tour thing. And so me and my buddy Dave, we did it with him once, and we went to all the. Where are you guys based, by the way?
We're in
LA.
LA. But
Okay.
I grew up in the Midwest. I'm from Kansas City.
Oh, nice.
Bryce, do you consider yourself from Reno or Sioux City? Where are you from?
It depended on the acting job I was going for, but yeah, no, Sioux City like a couple years, but born in Reno, mostly raised in Denver.
Nice. Okay.
And then
So-
Riley's just Southern California boy.
Well, I was born in Houston, Texas,
Oh,
but
well,
yeah,
shit.
I grew up in LA.
Nice. So yeah, I'm sure all those places as well like have their own little ghost history or their folklore, right? But Chicago definitely, is steeped pretty well in that stuff. And so we went to this place called Graceland Cemetery, which is downtown kind of by Wrigley Field. It's supposedly one of the most haunted cemeteries in the country, supposedly. We saw Al Capone's grave. We saw, let's see, there's a place called Bachelor's Grove, which is, I believe, the most haunted spot in Illinois.
Now, what is Bachelor's? I have two quick interruptions.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Involving questions. One, what does Al Capone's grave look like? And then two, what's Bachelor's Grove? Is that just an area of the city?
Yeah. So
it's just got bullet holes on it.
Yeah.
Like very on the nose. Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, it looks like the most boring ass, every other grave. And I believe, and I might be totally making this up, but I believe they had to move it a couple times into like a more like nondescript even area, like because people would kind of come and like mess with it because he was so, so hated around here or whatever. So yeah, it was a very basic grave, tombstone and stuff. But Bachelor's Grove, so this is kind of a fun story. It's tucked away, of course, as all great haunted spots. It's tucked away in a deserted like forest preserve kind of thing. Okay. And what it is an old cemetery. Like it hasn't been in use for, at least 50, 60 years or something. Like it's way old. And there's a pond or something maybe it was an old quarry or something like that that's really deep, like right next to the cemetery. And so the rumor is that in the old gangster days that this was a big like dumping ground. Whoa. When like the mobsters would like go and like, knock somebody off or whatever. They would go and they would dump them in this pond at Bachelor's Grove, which was already this kind of decrepit, kind of decaying old cemetery that wasn't even in use anymore. But then you add this like weird pond that they're dumping dead bodies in. And then you go through like the 70s and 80s where, the local kids get wind of this. And then it becomes kind of like a hangout place, like on the weekends. And, people have all the stories and the weird photos with the orbs floating and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of tucked away in the middle of this random like forest preserve. So you've got to kind of illegally like hike a little bit to even get to it. It's pretty creepy, like going. So we went to that, and then I
love the idea of like a horror movie, like a teen slasher movie, where they're all being haunted by like an old timey gangster with a Tommy gun,
dude. Totally,
like a pond ghost.
I feel like that hasn't been done, but yeah, the pond ghost genre is underrated.
Yeah. Guys, we just created it now.
Yeah. So then basically, we went on this tour, saw all these awesome places. And then we had to, of course, share these spots with our other buddies that didn't go on this ghost tour, So then we took our other buddies around and we kind of went to these places. And then for a while there, it kind of became like, oh, like, what are we doing this weekend? Like, what cool spot are we going to go check out? There's also a place called Resurrection Cemetery with the ghost Resurrection Mary.
Yes, we've talked about her on the show before. Briefly, maybe on the Patreon. My brother-in-law is from Chicago, and he would hear stories about Resurrection Mary growing up.
Yeah, so let me give you that because I actually have a story there. I've got a few stories I wanted to share with you guys, but I guess we'll just start with Resurrection Mary. So for those of you listening that don't know, there's a cemetery, Resurrection Cemetery, and it's right across the street from this like old it's called the Willowbrook Ballroom, which by the way, as of a couple years ago is not there anymore, which is really sad. Because this place was around. I know the story takes place in like the 50s. So it must have been around even long before that, I'm sure. But the story goes that in the 1950s, there was like, they'd have like little dance, weekend sock hops or something, right, at this ballroom. And one of these, these dances in the 50s, this girl got in a fight with her boyfriend or something. He took off, left her alone. And when she was forced to walk home. And when she was walking home down this road, which is also, like I said, there's a cemetery right there, supposedly she was like picked up by like, you know, somebody, maybe she was trying to hitchhike home or something. She got picked up and murdered, you know. And so the idea is, or the story is, that people have seen this girl dressed in like a white dress, just like walking randomly down the street between like the cemetery and that Willowbrook Ballroom. And so that's like a street where you don't really do much. You just kind of cruise down. It's a creepy street. Seeing the Willowbrook Ballroom was really cool. This kind of old, it looked like it hasn't changed since the 50s, you know, when we used to go there. But anyway, so there was this one time that we actually pulled into the parking lot of the Willowbrook Ballroom. And I shit you not, there was like an old timey car sitting in the parking lot with two dudes in it. And there was this like girl in a white dress sitting there talking to the dudes.
No way.
Oh, and that's the thing. It's the legend also has it that people would see this girl and not knowing the ghost story would actually pick her up and she would tell them the story and then disappear.
Oh,
That's part of the and there's, you know, numerous cases of this happening throughout the years or whatever.
It's like
Yeah,
large margin, Pee-wee's
Dude,
Big
totally
Adventure.
large march. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard like you look in the rear view mirror and she's not sitting in the back of the car anymore, that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. So
Ugh.
anyway, we pulled in the parking lot. There was this old timey car, two guys in the car, and this girl, but it was like a human, right? It wasn't some freaking glowing, you know, like weird, like thing. It was a human girl, you know, talking, dressed in a white dress, kind of leaning on the car, outside the car, talking to these guys. And we kind of like we did a double take and, oh, that's crazy. And then as we drove away, we were kind of like, what the hell? Like, could that have possibly been, you know, Resurrection Mary? Like, because, you know, obviously if people are having these stories of this girl that they've picked up and then she disappears, they're not, you know, she probably is, you know, a human form or something, right? So we're like,
you're not going to be like,
around.
I hope this ghost gets in my car.
Yeah, totally. So we go back around, and granted, this was literally at the most like 6 minutes later, by the time we turn around, where we have this realization like, holy shit, dudes, like, could that have, you know? And so we turn around, we go back, and they're all gone. There's nobody in the parking lot.
Now, were the guys 1950s looking that were in the old fashioned car, or could you tell?
They had the old car. I don't think we paid. I honestly don't remember. Like, I didn't pay that much attention, because it was kind of like we were pulling in and we were just like doing this thing that we've done, you know, 20 times before on this little cruise.
Right.
You know, we drive past the cemetery, pull into Willowbrook Ballroom. Oh, this is so cool. And then drive off and go home or whatever. You know?
And they could have been hipsters anyway, regardless. They might have looked like they were from the 50s. You know,
absolutely. Totally. So yeah, that I'm not sure of, but we definitely saw the girl that fit the description. And like I said, it was humans, and we didn't even think twice, just because it was, I don't know how the hell we like left without even thinking. But when it hit us a few minutes later, holy shit, we went back and they were all gone. So I don't know. Pretty wild.
I'm going to call it. That was Resurrection Mary. No doubt about it. 100%.
I think so.
Bryce, would you pick up that girl just to see if she disappeared in your car, or would you be too afraid?
Yeah, I'd have my eyes on her in that rear view the whole time, and then I'd end up in a car accident. Oh, shit.
That's a twist to the story, see?
Yeah.
Boom, then you'll be the ghost.
Oh, yeah, right. I like that.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I got a couple more little
stories. Please give us all.
Absolutely.
Tom, first of all, what a professional. Shows up to the podcast out of the blue. He's got his whole town's history, haunted history there. He's got a ghost story right off the bat. We love this. Yes. Bring it on. Okay, so I've got two more, and honestly, the Resurrection Mary one I wasn't even really thinking of, because it was, you know, I don't know. It's kind of random, but another kind of fun fact, and this is not necessarily a ghost story. I didn't really see anything, but there's a place that we would play at all the time called the Rave, the Eagles Ballroom at the Rave in Milwaukee. And supposedly this was like
back in like the 30s and 40s or whatever, it was like a like Nazi, it was some kind of union thing, but it was like communist. I don't know if it was communist or Nazi or something, but it was some kind of like really messed up thing, like back in the day when it was like, I guess you could have places
like pre
that,
World War II. Yeah, they'd have
Exactly.
they would have like a white nationalist gathering where people are like, I hear this Hitler guy has some interesting ideas.
I'd like to hear him out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those spots, but which is weird, but it's now been converted into this really kick-ass venue where there's like 3 different areas. It's like the building is like has a bunch of levels, and there's like kind of almost a big like mini arena on one level. On another level there's like kind of it's broken down to like a small club, and it's just a really great spot for live music that we've played a ton through the years. But the beauty of it is that there's this like all these ghost stories, and like I said, I've never had the experience of a paranormal activity or witnessing anything there, but there's an abandoned swimming pool, an indoor swimming pool inside this place.
Whoa.
Which, if you think about back in the day, just these total asshole like bigots like gathering in this place and swim like a country club almost, like, and I mean, so, I don't know if there was, stories of them, murdering people, or I don't know what the deal is, why it's so haunted, but supposedly the swimming pool, that's like the center of the haunt of this place.
Weird.
And so I did get to, and it's weirdly like kind of like blocked off, like almost like you're not supposed to be able to get to it. Like some of the backstage and the hallways and stuff were kind of built almost like a maze. Like you had to you had to have somebody show you the pool, because there's no way you could have just found it on your own, kind of a thing. So very weird, like secret society stuff. I don't know. But anyway, so we got
Welcome
to go
to the secret pool.
We got to go one time, and somebody showed us to the pool, and of course it's like pitch black in there, empty ass pool, so it's like you could fall in if you weren't careful, whatever, if you weren't paying attention or had your phone light on or something. And again, I'm not saying that this was anything, but like at the bottom of the pool there was definitely like smudges of like something that looked like blood. Granted, it could have been ketchup or chocolate or something from the band that played there the night before that wanted to scare people, or who knows, but it definitely, like, the pool especially had just the creepiest, like most uncomfortable, uneasy vibe just being in that area. But the venue in general, like even before finding out all these stories, it was like, man, this place is weird, man. It just has that vibe to it. And it's right across the street, literally, from the Ambassador Hotel, which is where Jeffrey Dahmer had all his victims, like, killed and stuff. Yeah.
Whoa.
So weird, like, yeah, it's like the haunted, like, block of Milwaukee.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I love to think how like pissed off all those like ghosts are, that like now it's just like all these bands and like punks and people playing music and like having a nice time
Totally.
in their like racist clubhouse. Like there's just some pissed off ghosts.
They defiled the murder pool with chocolate and ketchup.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, but now I got here's the biggest, in my opinion. I know Resurrection Mary was good, but this one to me is the craziest. So I was staying overnight at my girlfriend's house at the time, and she had 2 twin daughters that at the time I think were about, I want to say like 7 or 8. Okay. And so
the creepiest age that twin daughters could be.
Hands
exactly
down.
like
Also
the total
factually
like
accurate, yeah.
like the Shining twins or something, right? Like that age.
Yeah.
So we, and by the way, I stayed over there a lot. The daughters are like, you could like slam their bedroom door and they're not waking up, right? They were like that kind of like heavy sleepers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sleeping, in bed with my girlfriend. Like I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Okay. So, and the bathroom is kind of like, and it's a very small little house. Okay. It was literally like a living room in the front on a hallway connecting to the like living room, kitchen, hallway with the 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. And that was the entire layout. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, middle of the night, I get up to go to the bathroom, walk down the hallway, go in the bathroom, close the door, turn the light. I'm peeing. And like as clear as I'm talking to you guys right now, I hear footsteps just running down the hall.
Yeah.
And this place is small. It was lit, the door to the hallway is 6 feet away from me, to my left. And so I'm thinking, of course, like, oh, come on, the girls are up, or they're, sometimes they would stay, they'd be talking and they'd have to get like, reprimand. Now, granted, this is when they go to sleep. Never in the middle of the night, like they're, like I said, super sound sleepers. But I'm thinking, like, in my mind, of course, you hear that and, oh boy, they're up. I gotta go, wake up their mom and have them, put them to bed or yell at them or something. And so I get done peeing, I flush the toilet. And by the way, the footsteps were just one way, right? Like from where the girls' room was towards like that living room area. Mm-hmm. So I didn't hear any, so I'm thinking like they're just goofing off or something. I don't think I need to finish the story, but I will. So I, flush the toilet, leave the bathroom, go into the living room, looking around. They're not in. There's nobody there, of course. I go to the girls' room, open up the door, and they're both completely sound asleep, not smiling, not laughing. I kind of look for a second, like, am I catching them or something?
Yeah, are they trying to prank you?
Totally.
Wake up, are you fucking with me?
Yeah. They were completely asleep. And so then I closed the door and kind of just went back into bed and just was creeped out and fell back asleep. And
you just accept it. You're like, okay.
I mean, right. I'm not like going to wake up. Hey, there's like, I heard, I told her, of course, the next day, but it was like, man, it was the most real.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't like imagining, there wasn't some noise outside or some, it wasn't a cat knocking down a garbage can outside or something like in the movies. It was like literal footsteps running right, 5 feet away from me.
Well, it's consistent with what you're saying about Resurrection Mary, right? I mean, because when I've had instances like this, you don't think to be scared until you realize the kids are still in bed. Then it's creepy. Up to that point, it's not creepy. You're just thinking, oh, these rugrats gotta go back to bed. Yeah. I have to make out with their mom, so it's like, that's the thing, is it all looks and feels real until you realize that it's not.
Right. Totally.
When it comes to this ghost stuff. Now, what did your girlfriend say? She's like, that's weird because we have had some cupboards open on their own, or, I mean, like, had anything strange happened?
She's like, oh, that's Susie. Yeah. No,
right.
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
No, she was just like, oh, that's crazy. She had never really experienced that. So yeah, there wasn't really any crazy story beyond that. She didn't have, there was no like,
that's weird.
Unfortunately, no like connection or addition to that story. Yeah.
I don't know about any of you guys, but obviously ghosts come in many scary forms.
Yeah.
But there's something about the late night, like, look, we all get the spooky, creepy ghost. It's like moving slowly about the room or the house at night.
Now the running fucked me up. I was like,
the high action activity ghost in the middle of the night.
Right.
By far the creepiest. I think that's the scariest. That's scarier than waking up and seeing a shadow person over your bed. It's that, like, what are they doing?
Yeah, it's not typical. It's not. That's creepy, man. That's just messed up. Did that happen after Resurrection Mary, or was it close in time? Or
it was probably pretty far after. I'd say at least 5 to 6 years in between. Okay,
so no hitchhiker ghost theory working there.
Ooh, yeah, it was Resurrection Mary following me home. No.
Did you guys ever perform at the Hotel Congress in Tucson, Arizona? Does that ring a bell?
I don't think so. There was one super haunted hotel we stayed at in Iowa, but not Tucson. I can't think of.
It's
No.
this cool. It kind of sounds like the place in Milwaukee where it's a bunch of different like venues in this big old hotel, but like they had some weird stuff go on there, and it's supposed to be super haunted. There was like, they had like someone who died and like shot themselves in one of the rooms, like jumped out a window. They had some guy get in an argument with his wife and then walk out into the parking lot in front of everybody eating in the restaurant and blow his brains out. Like it's just got this like dark feeling to it, but it's also like all these. I passed through there a couple years ago with a buddy, and there was like this great band playing there and total college hangout, and also like young adults and adults from around the town. Like everyone's partying there, and really cool bar, a couple cool bars in there. But then allegedly down the street, and it's all this like college strip, there's this area that was like a vacant lot where it said that there's like a portal to hell there, and it's like a block and a half away.
Damn. Okay. That
So
all ties up nicely there.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
exactly.
Wouldn't that
Explains
be
a few
great if they
things.
iconed them out like on a map? These are where all the portals to hell are in your area.
Some weirdos made that app. We just haven't downloaded it.
Oh, there's one only 12 minutes away.
Yeah, out of curiosity, it's like one thing to like have a haunted place where it's like, yeah, a lot of murders happened here, but how did they like quantify the portal to hell? Like what justifies that?
That's a good question. I know. So in Kansas, there's a place called Stoll, Kansas, where there's like, it's a really tiny, like teeny tiny little town or village. And now it's basically like a church and a graveyard. And I'm not even sure if the church is still there, but there were legends of like people seeing cloven hoof footprints, or that the people had seen the devil there. So they assumed that church and that graveyard was a portal to hell. So I'm assuming someone saw a demon on that street. That's the only, I think that's how those rumors get started.
Damn. Well, I feel like to get a nickname like that, like enough people had to see something, right? There's got to be some, like if I was to be like, oh guys, like this street right here, like portal to hell, I don't think anybody would believe me. It'd have to be like
it's a good
the
experiment.
Resurrection Mary thing. It's like there's so many of these weird stories throughout the years that it's like there's got to be something to it. So yeah, the portal to hell, we got to look that up.
I gotta look at I gotta look into it. Maybe we'll do an episode later on the Tucson, Arizona portal to hell. That's great. Great stories. Super scary. I do not like a running ghost. And I'm going to be honest, I don't say this often. I didn't like those kids either. Why are they sleeping so soundly?
Right. Yeah, well, I thought like, yeah, too, like, oh, did you hear, like, to my girl, like, the next morning, did you hear anything running? Like, I don't know, like.
Right.
What do you think it is? Like, how do you justify it and go on with your, go to bed and go on with your day? Like, what was that?
Had to be some like squeaky pipes or something.
The old pipes.
The old foot pipes.
I'm not buying that, Tom.
That's just child foot pipes.
No, honestly, I was like, I don't recall how I went back to bed. I think I just kind of laid back down and probably stayed awake for 20 minutes just thinking, and then just or probably just waiting, like the fact that like nothing else happened for a while. I was like, okay, well, that was weird. I'll figure it out in the morning, I guess, or something.
Or never again. Yeah.
Maybe it was those kids. Maybe those kids slept so soundly because they astral projected themselves at night.
Well, I was saying, what if they're like dreaming that they're running down the hall? Do you think it could work like that, and then actually has some auditory sound to that? Who knows? I mean,
yeah, who knows is right. It's like you can't. That's like I said at the beginning. Like I believe in ghosts because why not? I can't prove that there's not. So why not like believe that there could be,
Yeah.
So yeah, like that kind of thing. Like, yeah, who knows? Like anything is freaking possible.
Well, we proved ghosts on this podcast, so you're okay. They do exist, and we proved it hands down.
We proved it. We just said they
Yeah.
exist because there's just too many weird stories. So
It's like that. It's like that famous saying, if you wish to upset the law that all crows are black, you mustn't seek to show that no crows are. It's enough if you prove just one single crow to be white. And that's what we did here on the podcast.
I like
First
that.
of all, Great quote. Where did you pull that from?
Yeah, what are you quoting?
I think that's attributed to Henry James, but I've always loved that quote because it's like, if I want to prove Bigfoot is real, all I need to do is just prove one. You know what I mean? Not all of them.
I love it when you bring out like a well memorized quote, Bryce. It's my favorite. You have a brain that's like it's like a safe. It retains everything.
I'm glad you think so.
I mean, when you listen, but otherwise. So Tom, you couldn't have queued up this next section better. We have a game that we like to play with everybody. Sounds like it might go a certain way already, but we're going to find out. I'm going to go down a list of phenomena, rapid fire. And if you're open to it, you're going to say believe it. If you're not open to it, you're going to say bullshit. And if you're somewhere on the fence, you still got to say one or the other. Okay?
So there's no like middle ground here. Okay.
No middle ground. And we can circle back and talk about any of these once we get down the list. If you're like, I do want to, let's talk about this, or, we'll ask you about a couple. But this is a game that we call bullshit
or believe it.
Love it. Now, let me ask you this before I get into it. Are there like some of these we made up and some of these are true? Or
these are all. Now I'm thinking I should have done that.
That's how dare you, sir?
True.
It's
false.
all real. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all based on reported phenomena. If that
Gotcha.
helps.
Okay. Cool.
Or mythology or theology. Okay.
Love
So
it.
here we go.
Love it. Yeah.
On your mark, get set. Ghosts.
I believe it.
UFOs.
I believe it. Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Is this sensitive on this podcast?
Speak freely.
I will say, that's a tough one. We'll go bullshit and we'll come back to that one.
ESP.
Oh yeah, believe it.
Shadow people.
I don't know what that is, so I'll say bullshit.
Unicorns.
I would like to believe them, but I don't think. I'm pretty sure that's bullshit.
Alien abductions.
I'll say I believe that.
Yeti.
Disney is a great place, so I'll say believe it.
Mothman.
I love it. Believe it. Why not?
Out of body experiences.
Absolutely believe it.
Tarot cards.
Fine, believe it.
Demonically possessed dolls.
Interestingly enough, when I went to Delilah's house, she had
Delilah had a demonically possessed doll?
She had a room that was full, like her mom collected these creepy porcelain dolls.
Ugh.
So when I gave her the song for the very first time, I was in a room with a bunch of creepy, like I'm talking like 40 to 50, like creepy porcelain dolls.
Sounds like you should have.
That's 35 too many.
Yeah.
Easily.
Sounds like you should have named the song, Hey There, Delilah.
Hey there, doll Lila.
Oh, hey there, doll Lila.
Amazing.
All right.
Okay, so I'll go believe it because one of those had to be possessed.
The healing power of crystals.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put some stock into that. Sure.
An alien spacecraft crashed at Roswell.
Funny enough, I know I'm supposed to just say believe it or bullshit, but I'm filming a music video this weekend for my side project, Million Miler, and the theme, the idea of the video is a spaceship crashes in Malibu, and I roll up and I like kind of hang out with the alien girl, the hot alien girl that was like stranded.
Love it.
Yeah, super cool.
Awesome.
So I'll go believe it just for
This
the
is
sake of it.
officially the Bigfoot Collectors Club favorite video.
There you go.
Loch
Love
Ness
that.
Monster.
That falls into Bigfoot territory. I don't know. It's like I want to say bullshit, but truly, like
You just
I
said it.
All right, fine.
Atlantis.
The resort. I will say I like that shit. I'll say believe it.
Haunted houses.
Absolutely.
Skunk ape.
Don't know what that is. So I'll say bullshit.
You just unlocked the secret game within the game. So Bryce, get ready. We'll play that as soon as this is over.
Oh, boy.
The Jersey Devil.
Don't know what that is either. So I'll say bullshit.
No
The
secret
biblical.
game
The biblical devil.
Kind of bullshit.
Speaking to the dead.
Sure, I can do it right now. Yeah.
Mermaids.
Believe it. Mermaids. Probably bullshit. I'll go bullshit.
The government is hiding the truth about Sasquatch.
There's your Bigfoot again, right? Well, since I said Bigfoot was bullshit, isn't Sasquatch and Bigfoot same thing? Or
Same thing. Yep.
Okay. So I'll kind of say bullshit there. Sorry.
Past lives.
You know, I'm open to that.
Life on other planets.
Oh, for sure. Maybe not in this, solar system, but somewhere.
Life after death.
I would love to believe that. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, you survived bullshit or believe it.
Well
nice
done.
job.
Well played.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, let's circle back to Bigfoot real quick. So you wanted to circle back. You just don't buy it. Well, what's Bigfoot mean to you?
So for some reason, like, it's easier for me to believe, like, in ghosts, right? Something that is just because of, like, the whole, the human existence and the idea of a soul and an afterlife and things like that. To me, that makes sense. Maybe because I'm living it, right? It's like, I exist. I feel like there's more to me than just my body. I feel like there's more to my loved ones and my friends, So the fact that a soul can kind of be lost in after the body dies, I think that's plausible. The idea that there's like a thing, like a monster, or like a like a Bigfoot that's like out there, but it's nobody, you can't really prove it. Like, I don't know. It's just a little bit like it's probably like a bear, or like, it's like that's when it's funny because I'm not, I'm a pretty logical person, but I'm also, I can extend my disbelief, or my belief, I guess I should say. But I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit like if there's it's like turtles are pretty fucked up, but like you've seen one in your life, they exist, they're out there.
It's true.
Bigfoot, I feel like if there was a thing, it would be like, there'd be some kind of evidence.
You might dig our Bigfoot is a ghost theory.
Ooh. Okay.
So, think of like we know poltergeists exist inside a framed house, and they make discarnate voices and knocks on panels,
footsteps
and
running
doors,
up and down the hallway.
Footsteps running up and down the hall, and
yes,
and they can move objects. Perhaps this Bigfoot or Sasquatch is more like a wilderness poltergeist, a wilderness ghost, if you will. And people see the image of it, and they find footprints, and rocks get thrown, and it makes noises and stuff like that. But there is a lot of evidence, may not be the proper word, but there is a lot of good argument that perhaps these creatures are just some sort of poltergeist that exists outside of the home, in the wilderness, in the forests.
I do. That's a great theory. And now I can get behind that because, I do believe that, animals have some kind of a soul as well. It's like, I don't know. I mean, you can't look into a dog's eyes and tell me that there's nothing there,
No.
100%.
So I love that theory. Okay.
Great.
Well, that theory's not going to help you with Skunk Ape.
All right. So this is a secret game that you unlocked. It's called...
Hang on real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we go to unicorns real quick?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
I would love to hear your guys' opinion on the unicorns.
Oh, they're bullshit.
Real.
Yeah, utterly bullshit.
I've tried to show these guys a great video of a unicorn, but they weren't buying it. And I'm almost there. I'm pretty much sold on it.
I think unicorns are, like a mythological symbol that means stuff. But yeah.
Listen, if there's a narwhal,
pretty.
a whale with one horned, one spiraled, beautiful horn, why couldn't there be an equestrian, an equine, a horse that also had a horn? Maybe in the past.
No.
Yeah, that's a great point. For sure.
I gotta go with the turtle theory. I think that we would have seen it.
Tom's turtle theory.
I think we
nice.
would have
I
seen
like
it,
that. Yeah.
Before
All
we
right.
move on too, could we? You just casually mentioned that you can speak to the dead, and then we just moved on from that real quick. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I
exactly?
guess I'm sorry. I just meant, the way. Of course, I know what you guys meant, but in general, speaking to the dead, I can have a full-on conversation with my grandpa right now,
Yeah.
and not necessarily hear anything back, of course. But I tend to. I mean, I actually do that sometimes. My grandpa passed away last year, and so there's times where me and my son will wake up and we'll just say like, "Oh, like good morning, Grandpa, we miss you," or just something like that. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
more of a not necessarily speaking to the dead the way you meant it, but since we were rapid fire, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's how I took it to mean, and makes 100% sense to me.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's what you meant too. I wanted to hear you elaborate on it a bit more.
Yeah.
'Cause that is so
Glad you
cool. How
did.
you can you can hold sort of someone's mind in your mind after they're gone, and you can kind of ask them questions and sort of reason what their answers would be, and kind of still engage with them. And it's a cool thing. It's a cool abstraction.
Did you ever hear that?
You guys want to hear a great story? Hang on, I got to tell you this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Another great story. So, my grandpa's name was Roland. Okay, Roland. I know it's an uncommon name. He was Canadian. After he passed away, a couple nights after he passed away, I had this dream, and he was in the dream, and it was like clear as day. He was wearing a blue shirt, and we were at like the hospital, and he was fine, and he was like walking like we weren't at the hospital for him. We just happened to be at a hospital, right? And he was like walking around, and he went to go speak to like the person, like the clerk, the desk, whatever, the nurse at the desk or something. And the nurse said, "Oh, hey, Ron, yeah, blah, something, answered his question." And in my mind, in the dream, I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Like he got my grandpa's name wrong, right? He called him Ron, but his name is Roland, right?" But I thought, "Oh, okay, he pronounced it wrong, whatever." So long story short, the next day, of course, I told my mom, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I had a dream about Grandpa," and she was all, it's her father, so she was like, "Oh, that's awesome. Tell me about it." And I told her, the dream, and she's like, "Oh my God." She's like, when he used to go on his business trips, he would just introduce himself to people as Ron.
Whoa.
Because Roland was so people wouldn't mess up his name, basically.
Wow.
So, and that's something that I didn't ever know my whole life. And so my mom, took it as like, holy shit, like he was like, kind of like coming, like telling you he's okay or something,
Yeah.
It's like, what a weird ass, like where would I come up with that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's just off on a business trip.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
incredible.
Wow. I didn't even take it to that level. That was really nice.
Wow, that's a cool story. I love that one.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play 60 Seconds to Sell Skunk Ape.
Nice.
Sweet.
Bryce, I tripped on the name of this game. Maybe we should call it 60 Seconds to Smell Skunk Ape. Huh?
Now close your eyes and envision this smell. I'm gonna walk you through this.
We'll have to we'll play that once we all get back into the studio together.
Yeah, sure.
So Tom, so you asked what is Skunk Ape. Bryce is going to have 60 seconds to explain Skunk Ape and sell it to you to see if you believe in it or if you find it bullshit. Now, Bryce, I got to say, you've been getting a little weird with your pitches lately. I'm not going to tell you how to play this game.
Yeah. Each
I'm
sale is different, Michael. I was in sales for a while. And
I'm just anticipating where this one might go. I am putting the minute on the clock. All right. On your mark, get set, sell Skunk Ape.
Sure. Tom, Skunk Ape, all it is Florida's Bigfoot. Now, you seem like a show me state kind of guy, so I'm going to show you some pictures. Do you have a search bar nearby?
Do I need to do this in 60 seconds? Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Okay. Well, if the one's close, type in Myakka Skunk Ape. Myakka Skunk Ape. and then just go to images. A couple photos should pull up. The story goes, an anonymous letter was sent to the sheriff's department out of
30
Sarasota,
seconds.
Florida. And she said, something has been stealing the apples in my backyard. She was an old lady. She went out back with her camera. It was pitch black dark. She took 2 photographs. When the flash went off, she saw this creature. And on the second
15
flash,
seconds.
she said it started to stand up. Hopefully they're showing you a side-by-side picture,
9,
but you can see the
8,
reflection in the eye.
7,
You can see the
6,
jaw move. You can
5,
see it actually
4,
standing up.
3,
That
2,
is the Mayaka
1.
skunk ape.
Stop. Tom,
Okay.
do you buy skunk ape?
Well, scrolling down, there's a picture of like some hunter guy next to a dead skunk skunk ape that's called actually swamp ape in that picture. So that might be a totally different breed of.
Oh, I'm seeing the same photo. Yeah, no, don't look at that photo.
Oh, okay.
Bryce, you're done. You cannot say anything else.
I mean, it's weird. It's got this. Is it the skunk stripe in the front? It looks like under its chin. Does it really even have a chin? It looks like the mouth just kind of goes right into the big body. Those glowing eyes. I mean, then you got this guy that looks like Tom Hardy in one of these weird pictures. Shit, it's tough because you guys got me on Bigfoot. It's like, maybe could skunk ape be? I thought you were going to go here because after this episode, I feel like you would have known how to sell me. Like, yeah, it's like the ghost of a skunk and an ape had a baby.
I'm writing that down. Hold on.
Died at birth. And it's the ghost, the full-grown ghost of this said baby.
Knock, knock. Tom, it's your assistant, Ben. You have a meeting in 20 seconds. Do you want me to kick this Bryce Johnson guy out of here? We need to give him an answer.
You know what? I'll go bullshit. Sorry.
Can't win them all, buddy.
Yeah. Well, let me leave you my business card if you have any questions. Or
Sir,
any
you need to leave,
follow-up.
please. He's a very busy man.
Yeah, right.
He's a very busy
Do you guys
man.
validate?
We do not. We do not, sir. All right. Well, it's time for this week's story of high strangeness, and we kind of couldn't have teed it up any better because this is a story that is Florida adjacent. Here we go. Deep in the American South lies the Honey Island swamp of Louisiana, an ecologically rich area teeming with life. Honey Island Swamp is over 70,000 acres large and runs along Louisiana's border with Mississippi. This primordial space is fed by the Pearl River, which got its name after French explorers discovered its basin littered with gleaming pearls. In a luscious bayou populated by fish, snakes, gators, boars, and birds, BCC listeners may not be surprised by the local legends that whisper of a hairy, smelly hominid lurking in these wetlands.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom, they're not referring to skunk ape. This entity is slightly more strange and goes by the name of the Honey Island Swamp Monster.
Wow.
Also referred to as the Thing or the Louisiana Wookiee. Bryce, please add that name to the BJ and the Shadowbats track list, if you would.
Okay.
Louisiana
Done.
Wookiee. Write that down. The Honey Island Swamp Monster could be some kind of strange humanoid hybrid of primate and reptile. Unlucky eyewitnesses who've crossed paths with the creature claim it stands over 7 feet tall, is covered in dingy gray hair and tangled with swamp weeds. It has yellow reptilian eyes, and curiously, it has scaly, webbed, 3-toed feet, more like an alligator or an aquatic bird than, say, a Bigfoot.
Weird.
And, as I previously mentioned, it is known to emit a foul, death-like stench that dwarfs any surrounding boggy odors or swamp stank, a trait which is oft attributed to big hairy monsters. The beast is often blamed for missing or mutilated livestock and even suspected of taking missing children in the area. The creature may be the inspiration for legendary monsters that have been discussed in the region for generations. The Letiche, referred to in stories by both indigenous peoples and Cajuns, was a spirit or monster that was half alligator, half human, sometimes a child raised by gators, and sometimes an orphaned, unbaptized baby who grew up into a beast. Another hairy hominid feared by Cajuns was the loup-garou, a werewolf-like entity that haunts the swamps and sugarcane fields near New Orleans, about an hour away from Honey Island Swamp, and described as a human body with the head of a wolf or dog. The first modern sighting of the Honey Island Swamp Monster occurred in 1963. Retired air traffic controller Harlan Ford and his hunting partner Billy Mills, obviously these two men should be played by Timothy Olyphant and Walt Goggins in this story.
Good casting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very. I feel like these guys are very justified. They were flying over Honey Island Swamp looking for the location of an old abandoned cabin, and after spotting said camp, they landed the plane and were trekking through the woods when they stumbled up on the creature in a clearing, who rose up from all fours and stared at the two men before bounding off into the trees on two legs. Ford said,
"It was nothing like I'd ever seen before. Ugly and sinister and looking like something out of a horror movie. It swung around and looked at us for a moment, then tore off into the swamp. I want you to know, it scared the heck out of me."
According to Ford, the monster had slender legs, but a big broad chest and shoulders. Gray hair sprouted from its head and intermingled with the darker gray hair on its body. As for the eyes, Ford said,
"They were large, very large and amber colored, and looked hard at us before running off."
The more of the memory of the event haunted the two men. In 1974, so we're talking 11 years later, Ford and Mills were hunting in the swamp when they came across a boar with its throat slashed open and shredded to bits. Littered around the carcass were 3-toed tracks, all webbed feet by the looks of it, and Ford and Mills estimated they were too far away from the water to be those of an alligator. They figured their old hairy friend was the culprit of the poor animal's demise. They returned to the location that evening to set plaster casts of the prints, which measured between 10 and 12 inches long, and displayed 3 prominent webbed toes and a 4th toe closer to the arch of the foot. The talon-like webbed toes suggested that the creature was agile at climbing trees as well as swimming through the murky depths of the swamp. In 1977, stories of the swamp monster attracted the attention of the classic TV show In Search Of, hosted by Leonard Nimoy. So during the program, the filmmakers interviewed a local man by the name of Ted Williams, a lifelong river rat who hunted and trapped on the Honey Island Swamp. He described numerous encounters with the creature, or creatures, because once he even spotted an adult and a juvenile living in tandem through the forest. He explained, Bryce,
"First time I ever saw it, it was standing plumb still like a stump. I stopped and realized it wasn't a stump and it wasn't supposed to be there. When I stopped, it ran. It was dark, gray, about 7 foot high. It jumped a bayou. That was the first time I saw it. The next time I seen him was swimming in the river, 2 of them. One was bigger than the other and faster than the other, and they swam just like a human with them long overhead strokes. I tried to get one of them to look at me, and the other one ran off, and the other one wouldn't look at me. I could have shot it, but I wouldn't on account it wouldn't look at me. It looked too much like a human to me. Broad shoulders, arms hanging down below its knees, hands almost like a human's."
Another man, Harry Ford, claims that he and his wife were fishing in the swamp in the early 1970s and were terrorized by threatening vocalizations that kept moving closer and closer to their camp throughout the night, until whatever had been stalking them was in the thick brush mere feet from their campsite. Harry had to chase it away with a flaming torch. Now, what could possibly be the origin of the Honey Island Swamp Monster? Well, local legend says that around the turn of the 20th century, a circus train crashed near the swamp. The surviving animals fled into the bayou, where a pack of circus chimpanzees mated with alligators to create this new breed of horror. Scientifically impossible? Sure, but an entertaining origin story nonetheless, even if it is subpar to say being bitten by a radioactive spider. Now, Harlan Ford's theory was that the creature was some type of primitive man that continued to evolve untouched by modern civilization, adapting to the primordial swamps around him for survival, living off the numerous plant life and aquatic species, plenty of which could sustain a small breed of 500-pound monsters. After his death in 1980, an 8mm film was found in Harlan's belongings by his wife. His granddaughter, Dana Holyfield, edited the film into her documentary film Encounters with the Honey Island Monster, which shows a few seconds of film capturing a lumbering, hairy creature moving through the forest. Had Harlan captured the creature on camera and never told his family? Listen, it's no Patterson Gimlin film, so maybe he was looking for better proof, or maybe the whole thing was a hoax. Regardless, locals to this very day, who have lived their entire lives on the swamp, say that something's waiting out there in the dark with the ghosts and the gators of Honey Island Swamp. And that is the story of the Honey Island Swamp Monster.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Nice.
Well told.
Tom, bullshit or believe it, what do you think this thing is?
Well, I mean, you know, the problem with these stories is that, again, there's so many, like there's numerous witnesses, right? And if they all are kind of saying they see the same thing, it's tough. Like, dude, I wasn't there, you know, I don't know. Are they all just happen to be bullshitting the same story, or, you know? So, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe there's something weird. Maybe it's just some weird, I mean, dude, I guarantee there's some apes that are probably a little bit deformed or a little bit messed up looking, or some gators that look a little bit not like the other gators.
A gator who found an old fur coat and is having some fun in the bayou.
Yeah. Or, you know, maybe it's just, I don't know. Like, you know what? Here's the thing that bothered me about the story. The very first thing, when that first, you know, person saw it, and it was like, it looked at us for a minute, and then it ran away. Like, the description of like the feet, right? Like the webbed feet. And then you went on to say about the, you know, the footprints or whatever. But it's like, how the hell, you know, if you're, I'm assuming in my mind, they're, you know, the thing's 50 feet away from them or something, right? So I don't know that you'd have that good of a, you know, vantage points to be able to see what kind of feet the thing had from that far away, especially if it's running away, a big ass thing. I don't know. There's obviously some holes there, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to, I guess if I had to say, I would probably say bullshit, but like, again, I know you told me no middle ground, but I'd be like, you know, hey, I'd be worth, you know, I would entertain it if I knew someone that told me that story, I'd be like, well, they wouldn't lie. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're right in the headspace that we're in doing this show for 4 years. It's like, I don't know. These people, you know, and the thing is, like, I watched Dana Holyfield's movie. I have some notes, mostly to do with editing and storytelling, but I will say she got a lot of people on camera who describe this thing and who have seen it and heard it, and they all say the same. These guys are all look like they're the cast of a Burt Reynolds movie from like 1970s. Like they're like, they do not want to look stupid, and they talk about it. They're like, I don't talk about this because I don't want to sound crazy.
Sure.
Now, some of it, sometimes I feel like there's a little wink in the eye that some of these guys are having fun with just local folklore, but these guys live on one of them says, it's like, we're swamp people. We live out here. We see all this stuff. And this area is 70,000 acres large. And most of it, there are places where you can't even get to without chainsaws going through some of these like drifts and old creeks. So who knows what the hell's out there? I don't know. Now, this thing to me does sound very roadside attraction, with like, it's got the feet of a gator and the face of a human and a body of an ape. It's very weird. But Bryce, the three-toed thing comes up a lot with the southern Bigfoot.
We do see that a lot.
Monster and that stuff.
It's true. I'm going to expand on a theory here a little bit. It's almost like the environment sort of creates this forest element that people witness, and it has a physical presence. Like, I'm fascinated by the idea that like what people see in the swamps is different than what people see in the Pacific Northwest.
But that makes
sense. And that's different
'cause...
than what people see in the Texas grasslands, right? It's sort of like it all has these different features. I mean, could these big hairy monsters, as John Keel called them, be evolving on such different levels and having different attributes like that? Or I don't know. It's so strange.
Maybe they are just like nature spirits. I don't know.
Yeah. Because you would feel that swamp might have some sort of its own energy that could, interplay with our observership, and then it comes off as this hairy, webbed three-toed creature that has these, humanistic eyes. I don't know. So strange.
Well, then you have that south, the swampland bayou. It already has it already has that built-in ghost story folklore,
Yeah.
And whatever this weird half human, half crocodile creature is, or hairy werewolf creature, it's all very strange. It's a fun story. I don't know. I mean, like, it's hard to. This one feels very local, which I love, which I absolutely love. But I'm not going to argue with the people who say that they've seen this. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah. I would have loved to have heard some horny teenagers in a car or something, but I'll take the old timers.
Yeah, there's none of those in this story. These are all like river rat boat folks, So, well, there you go. This week's story of Highest Strangest, another one in the books. Tom Higgenson, thank you so much for being on the podcast. What a blast! What great stories. Where can we don't know where to find the Honey Island Swamp Monster, but where can people find you and your work?
Yes, my music is it's not a myth. It really exists, and there's proof.
It's legendary, but it's not a myth.
Exactly. So obviously I'm doing Plain White Tees. You guys know that music and stuff. plainwhitetees.com. But I started a record label called Humans Were Here, which is also humanswerehere.com. And my personal Instagram is kind of the only social media that I really do much of. So my personal Instagram, I'd love to get more followers there. It's at Higgy Pop, because my last name is Higgenson, and we had a sound guy that kind of started calling me Higgy Pop a few years ago, and it just stuck. So
that's great.
At Higgy Pop on Instagram. And then I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the thing I'm really super excited about right now, I started a solo project, my first solo project since being in the Plain White Tees, going on, whatever it is, 23 years now at this point. My first solo project, it's called Million Miler. And it's me. I'm really fascinated with 80s culture in general, from the movies.
Us too.
To I got the 85 Bears. We're still living,
nice.
We're still living in that moment in Chicago. But yeah, and then the music, of course, is like, it's perfect. It's just so fun. And kind of coming back around through things like Stranger Things, and, even like The Weeknd, his new album
vibe
was
is great.
Yeah, I just love it. And there's a whole scene of synthwave kind of happening. So I got really inspired by that stuff. So I decided to do a project that is, it's like a straight from the 80s synth pop solo project. And I've got an album coming out. I don't know when this is going to air, but May 10th, my debut album comes out.
Oh, wow.
Right on the money.
Yeah.
This
That's
is going to be
perfect.
out a week from today. So it's
Oh,
going
there
to
you
be
go.
out. I can't do math, but I think it's May 12th. So there you go.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
out. Guys, go get it.
The album is out, yeah. So everybody check that out on Spotify, on all the streaming places. And you can actually order vinyl. And of course, since it's an 80s themed project, on cassette tape, you can order those at humanswerehere.com.
Fantastic. And I'll throw a link to that in the show notes so everybody can just scroll down and tap on that and go get their vinyl and their cassettes. That's
Awesome.
great.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Follow Higgy Pop. Follow at McMills, my Instagram account. That's basically where I am these days. At Bigfoot Collectors Club over at Instagram, and Bigfoot Pod on Twitter. Bryce, Riley, got any plugs before we say goodnight?
Yeah, I'm at Instagram at Bryce O. Johnson, and on Twitter at Twitter Bryce O. Johnson, Instagram Mr. Bryce Johnson. I'm trying to make it easy for you. Find me there.
Yeah, I'm at Peastrone on Instagram, and I implore you to check out The Other Side, our Patreon. If you've made it to this point of the episode, you like this show. There's so much more of this show there. I really think you'll enjoy it. So just check it out. It's patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.
That's great. I want to give a little plug for Bryce because I keep forgetting to do this, and our listeners will want to know. Expedition Bigfoot Season 2 is now airing on the Travel Channel on Sundays.
Oh, yes, that's right.
If you missed it on Discovery Plus, you can get it now on the Travel Channel.
That's right.
You guys want to check that out. And then come listen to our entire recap of the entire series over on The Other Side. We recapped every episode, and we got some awesome guests on it too. All right. Thanks again to Tom. We appreciate it. Go get all the music. Follow him at Higgy Pop. Until next week, good night.
And go get regressed. Nice. Thank you so much. Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray. Our theme song is Come Alone by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. If you like the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps get the podcast to more listeners. To support the show, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club and unlock multiple reward episodes every month.